Checking connection. All right. Are we live here? We're live there. Okay. She's outside. Yeah, okay. Well, hey everyone, or whoever is watching right now. Give me a moment. I'm going to get the guests real quick. No. Oh, you know what? That'd be a good idea. Maybe I'll put it on Twitch. But it's Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hello.
And then sit on the couch anywhere. Currently live. What else did I do? I didn't know what to do. Oh yeah.
Oh, on Facebook, I see.
Facebook Live and Instagram Live off my phone. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. We got one viewer there. Ooh, and then let's see. What's the Josh. Hey, what's up, Josh?
Hey, Josh.
And then let's see. Okay, Dan, can you see us, Dan, or I guess
I cannot. If I do Facebook Live, it's actually a delay.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to delay yourself. Yeah. Okay. All right, Aaron's here. Stand by. Hey, Aaron.
Aaron's here.
The gate should be open. What's on it?
How's it going, Laura?
Oh, it's going pretty good. How are you?
Did you want water?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
I'm just chugging along.
Yeah? How's your family?
They're good. No broken arms or anything like
Okay.
that. So.
Sorry,
that's
guys.
perfect.
Traffic. Oh, that's all good. Okay.
I just got here.
She just got here.
I'm here.
You tiny
I was
people.
very nearly
Oh my
later than you.
gosh. How dare you all?
Sorry, man. Well, hey, the one time that I come late is the time where I really shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I'm usually like 30 minutes early.
Okay. It's okay. We're building momentum.
Cool.
Instagram's recording to all my friends that I'm live, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, I saw that. Oh,
And then if you feel like
Thank you.
if you want to go live on your device as well, you may. However, you guys want to do it.
you have a charger?
What kind do you have?
iPhone?
Yeah.
Yay.
I'll plug into.
How's it going?
Going good? And yourself?
Pretty good.
Cool. How do you know James?
We went to grad school together.
At CISA?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm there right now.
Oh, cool. Are you doing the MFA program? Or
Is that film?
yeah,
No,
that's what
I'm
we were
not.
doing.
Um,
Okay.
I only figured film because I didn't know what that means.
Oh yeah, I know.
But no, I'm there for marketing.
Oh, cool.
FYI, we are recording, so everything you're saying, people can hear us.
Oh,
Oh.
we're just chit chatting and nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing to.
Nobody-
There's like a stand for.
Nobody knows where I bury the bodies.
Wait, so Aaron, you guys sit there?
I can sit on the couch.
Yeah. Let's get cozy. And where do I put my water?
I like not being visible either. I'm serious.
Okay. Let's see. Do you seriously don't want to be visible?
No, I don't like.
You don't mind?
I don't mind
Oh, there's my one.
not being visible.
Okay, is it recording? Wow. Okay, everything. All right. This is an interesting experiment. All right. Okay, where are we?
I think we're in your place.
Okay, we got one there. Let's see. There we go, Laura. What up? This is like cheap Daiso. Stand here. Okay. All right, we're here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Yin Young podcast. We've got special guests, Aaron here, Estrada, and Laura Cox. Yay. James, do you want some trail mix?
No, thank you.
Okay.
All
right. Okay.
I had some ramen.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So for our one viewers, thank you for joining us.
Two.
Two viewers. Three. Oh, there's two viewers now.
Yeah.
Great. I will go ahead and let's see. Oh, do you want this one? Here, I got you.
That way I can live stream.
Live stream, yeah. Oh, share password. What? I didn't know you could do that.
Ooh.
Wow. iPhone for the win. You can share passwords across devices.
Did you know iPhone admitted to slowing down?
Yeah. That's why I'm gonna change. I'm gonna replace my batteries.
And they're like, oh well, if you like, we're like messing up your phones, but if you want to, you can pay us more money to fix it.
Okay.
The problem that we made.
Right. Dan, can you hear us? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He just doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't.
He has a Galaxy probably.
No. I think
Oh, okay.
Dan, you got the iPhone as well, yeah.
Yeah, I already ordered my battery.
Nice.
You ordered it?
Yeah, because like I have the 6 Plus, and they stopped making batteries for the 6 Plus,
Mm-hmm.
so it will come out to like January or March, April,
I see.
or February, March. I can't remember when the time is.
Okay.
It's not gonna be for a while.
Should we do a musical intro or should we skip it? What do you think, Dan?
I think we're way past that.
Yeah. So let's get into it. So what are we here for? We're doing it live because I think it's a topical issue that we wanted to talk about. Just a disclaimer that what we say here, we're not, hey, we're not just.
I got two viewers.
Nice.
Nice.
We're giving our own opinions, and please don't hold us legally responsible or whatnot. I mean, we're here. It's for entertainment purposes, right? Yes, for entertainment purposes. But we'll give our interpretations of events or interpretations of certain events that have happened, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Or in our personal lives and in the news. So let's get into it. So I labeled it just a bad date ? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just something that I've been thinking about.
We're talking about, for those of you that don't know, we're talking about this article that was released by an anonymous writer. She went by they gave her the name Grace, but basically what happened was she went on this date with a celebrity named Aziz Ansari.
Okay.
And according to her, you'd have to read the article to get the full story, but according to her, there were some red flags throughout the course of the date that she mentions. Yeah. Did you read the article?
I will admit that I haven't read the article.
Okay.
But I've read a lot of articles about the article.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, and basically what happened was there were a bunch of red flags, but they had dinner, and then they walked to his apartment. He made advances, they started making out. They did not sex, but sexual acts on each other that she claims that she wasn't comfortable with, and she gave nonverbal communication, hesitation. And then at one point, she goes to the bathroom to kind of like gather herself, comes back, says she's not down for it. He says, okay, tries again. And then she finally says, like, well, I kind of want to go home. He says, okay, I'll call you a car. And she goes home. Mm-hmm. Upset about the situation, texts him the next day, like, hey, what you did wrong. And then he says he apologizes. Mm-hmm. He's even made a public apology. Yeah. He also didn't state her name.
Right, yeah, which is good.
Yeah, yeah. And apologizing. But to him, in his eyes, he just misinterpreted some. Yeah. Thank you. Misinterpreted some body language. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of people are up in arms. Some women are saying that she's misconstruing the whole Me Too movement, and what she's saying is kind of like making it a little bit less than what it is with her statements. Yeah. But yeah, I've been like wanting to know the other side of it. Yeah. Okay. Because my perspective is it's just a bad date. Okay. Maybe not just a bad date. You know, maybe because to me, it was just kind of like I'm very skeptical about it because I think she kind of got caught up in the moment of being on a date with a celebrity. Mm-hmm. So then, and then it didn't turn out the way she wanted. So she kind of just like kept going with it. Because like, oh well, I'm with a celebrity. Mm-hmm. She had like many chances to back out. Like they went from dinner and they walked to his apartment. You know, and she even states that she didn't have a good time at dinner, mm-hmm. but still agreed to walk back to his apartment. Right. You know, she said that the dinner was too rushed. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Sorry, I'm just fixing this. But okay. If for those of you, you can all check out the Babe article, babe.net, whatever. And then okay, yeah. So I've read a couple articles about it. Also, I listened to Jenny Yang's podcast. She did a podcast about it, and she mentioned some think pieces. Okay, why don't we just go around and let's talk about it. So you think it's a bad date? Yes, I think it was just a bad date. Mm-hmm. That it could have been settled easier if it was just talked about in the moment. Mm-hmm. You know, like have you guys seen the new Star Wars? Yeah. No. Okay. Well, do you care if we ruin it or no? Spoiler alert! 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. The Last Jedi. Okay, go ahead. Okay. I won't care. I won't even spoil Star Wars, but I'll just say, like, you know, in movies where the entire plot could have been solved in like 10 minutes if a character had just said mm-hmm. what they knew the entire time, but for whatever reason just didn't say it. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's exactly what happened in this moment. Okay. Just say it, just or just take the action. Because, okay, but the thing was there was some non-verbal and verbal. There was a lot of verbal communication. She did say no a few times. Non-verbal communication, but that was ignored, and then it became like a jumping off point for more kind of maneuvering and like coercion. Oh, you don't really mean no. Like, let me show you what you really mean. Like an assumption that. I think that a lot of times guys maybe assume that no is it's like a challenge? A challenge or like a form of flirtation or something. I don't exactly know the psychology behind it, but like you guys are smart dudes, right? You know like when somebody isn't into something, right? You can feel it. I'm really bad at social cues. I mean, I guess I can kind of feel it. But here, let me ask you this, though. Yeah. Throughout this whole thing, I might play like a little bit of devil's advocate. Sure. Just so I have a discussion. Yeah. When you go to an Asian person's house, or just any person's house, when you go to someone's house and they offer you something to drink or eat, do you say yes automatically? Yeah, it depends on what they're offering. Are they offering something that's easy to give, or is like hey, you want a cup of water or anything? You automatically say yes. I would say yes to water. Yeah.
Now, if it's something like, oh, hey, you want me to grab something from the fridge for you? You want anything to eat? I'm like, oh no, that's too much trouble. Don't worry about it.
Right? You say no, but really, you want something to eat.
Yeah, but
this is just an expression. Like, just like an example.
That's not really.
Is that the same?
You don't think
that's
it's applicable?
analogous at all.
Okay.
Because like a glass of water is not it's a glass of water. It's not trespassing someone's like personal boundaries.
That's
It's
true.
completely a different situation.
So we got Dan online. Dan, will you want to chime in?
No, I'm just agreeing with Laura. It's when you're being offered food or something like that, it's nothing personal.
I don't mean like food specifically. I just mean like that was just an example. I just meant like whenever you're offered something the first time, you don't want to take it right away.
Yeah, but like if you think of a sexual situation, that type of like politeness is not really at play. So the idea here that so many like people who are on Grace's side are kind of gathering around is the idea that consent should be affirmative. It should be like a clear yes, which I think is the rule of thumb that was not abided by in this situation.
Like enthusiastic.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
like,
because like
fuck yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or like
So
following nonverbal communication that is a clear affirmative.
so it's you're on Grace's side on this. Like you think it's more than just a bad date.
I think that it's just a bad date in the sense that a lot of dates are bad dates. But so some of the most interesting articles I've read have been about like this whole concept that yes, this is an extremely common experience, but that doesn't mean that's not, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's sexual assault because it's not criminal. No.
Okay.
Yeah, it couldn't be. It's not criminal behavior, but it is an emotional and sexual trespassing.
Let's look at it this way too. She's like she's obviously hella hurt after the date, right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, I went on a date not too long ago. This was in the last podcast, one of the other podcasts that yet to be posted. But she texted me afterwards. We didn't get sexual or anything, but she's like, "Hey, I had a really great time. I was really happy." I was like, "Oh damn, that turns me on."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh yeah, that's good, awesome," and it wasn't even sexual. So now, so this is just me from my personal experience. Have I been pushing with women in sexual situations? I have.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I looked at the Aziz Ansari story and had these two reactions, right? Okay, when I read the line in the, first of all, we can question the journalism of the article. The article is not the best written article in the world. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, and it's kind of fucked up that, the way that Babe, the way that Babe reached out to this woman and like kind of forced her to disclose this whole story. I don't think it was necessarily her choice. It was like
sensationalized.
It was and it wasn't so the whole way that the story came out is kind of messed up and in a way like capitalizing on the movement in a like on the publisher side. Like I think yeah. So
like Dave was like, "Oh, here's a story that we could talk about talk about the YouTube movement, to get more notice on Babes."
Yes, exactly.
Which is a pretty known site, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, which doesn't mean that her story isn't valid, but it just means that the way that it came out is kind of messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
The second, so one of the reactions I had was like, "Damn, fuck." Her reaction after date, that's messed up. That something bad happened to her. But when I was reading the actual article, and there's a point where she did give oral sex to him, and he gave her oral sex.
Mm-hmm.
When I read that part, I'll tell you the truth. I stood up. I'm like, fuck this. This girl is like giving. What is going on? Like this girl is like giving him in his head, and she's complaining about like being too pushy later. But I had to calm myself down. And I thought about it, and I reread the article, and it's not the best written article in the world, but I'm trying to think, should I say this or not? This is live.
It's live.
It's live.
It's recorded.
Well, it's like, okay, I've been in a sexual situation where I got that base, I got head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was, and I was like, hey, you want me to,
reciprocate?
Want me to? Yeah, I mean,
or
you want me to enter her? I mean, because like, would you
enter or reciprocate?
Oh, I didn't want her.
I
didn't want her to reciprocate because she was just finishing that period of the month.
You don't say period of the month and then, as if you're gonna hide it. You already said the word.
She was having menses. She was in menses.
But I was willing to like, hey, did you want me to go, put on a condom? And she didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but she's like, we're already at this stage, right? And like,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, and she's wet, right? And I'm like, I feel bad. I'm just taking, and like, what can I give you, right? And she's like, nah, I think we're going too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, should I push for it? I didn't. Okay. I was like, okay, that's fine. And head's great too. So
yeah, it is.
So
it really is.
It's sometimes better. Yeah. Anyways, that's a different debate. But yeah, there was a very distinct line between that base and the penetration base. Yeah. And I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think, because I've told this story to other friends, and I'm like, damn, should I kind of push for it? And one of my friends that are girl was a female. She said, "Oh, James, you should have just like been a little, be more assertive, be more bold or whatever." And I was like, I don't know, because some women like that. Some women like it when you like are like, hey, like you whip your thing out, or I don't know what it is, depending on the context, right?
Yeah.
But there's a certain, and one of my other friends says like you can never be too bold, except without, but as far as long as you're not crossing too many ethical lines. But
yeah.
So it's really, really fucking confusing for a man sometimes.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It is really confusing. Now, in this particular case, okay, sure. I think based on the reaction of both parties, one was, hey, I had a great time. Hey, I'm glad we made up. We met last night. Here's something about my camera. Whatever. That's what Aziz said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then hers was like long ass text.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, actually, I didn't have a great time. These are the reasons why.
Yeah.
And guess what? As a man, if I saw that, I gotta listen.
Yeah, and he did though.
He did listen. Yeah. No, well, he said he did say, "Oh, I totally did not see that, and I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what more should he have said?
Well, so that's kind of like saying, "Oh, I'm sorry if what I did hurt your feelings," as opposed to saying, "I'm sorry. I realized that what I did was wrong." Did you see the distinction? Like,
sorry. Did you say
like
educate us?
Yeah. So
as our sole female, I was trying really hard, Laura, to get female
I know.
podcasters on. But anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
So it's like, say that I like say something that hurts your feelings, and then I'm like, and you confront me about it, and then I say, "Oh, I'm sorry that you were hurt by it." So like kind of putting the onus on you. I'm sorry that you felt this way, but I'm not really taking responsibility. No, but it's a different thing when you're acknowledging that what you did is wrong versus saying, "I'm sorry that you felt that way."
Right.
Did you read the actual text that he sent?
Yeah, I read it.
No, I didn't.
But no, she's right though. Like I read the actual text, and he said, I totally misread the situation.
So he's admitting that he's admitting that he's wrong and that he's at fault. Type in, pull up Aziz Ansari's apology text.
Let's see, apology text. If I go on a different tab, does it pause it?
No, it's still going because of the green light.
Oh, the green light. Okay, good. Dan, while we...
So go back up real quick.
Yeah.
Here's one thing. She's talking about, here's a picture. Because she's saying, like, I still had wine left in my cup.
Yeah.
And he ordered us white wine.
Yeah. She wanted red or some shit.
Right?
Yeah,
and she goes, and here's a picture to show you what's going on.
Well, you know what?
Well, you don't even see what she has.
I think that's just bad reporting.
That's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, it's really irrelevant. Yeah.
Okay.
What does that?
I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, like, it just kind of undermines the validity.
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes, hey, it was fun meeting you last night. I just dropped my roll of film today. Fingers crossed for some solid shots. And to which she replies, hey, Aziz, nice meeting you too. I hope you have some good shots on the roll. Last night might have been fun for you. It wasn't for me. When we got back to your place, you ignored clear nonverbal cues. You kept going with advances. You had to have noticed I was uncomfortable. I just want to take this moment to make you aware of this behavior and how uneasy it made me. Really think back to last night. You may have said it's okay, only fun if we're both enjoying it. Let's just chill.
Yeah.
But within moments of that, your fingers were down my throat.
He did like the claw move or whatever. Yeah.
You were putting my hand on your dick continuously. It's like nothing.
Here, I got you. He wanted to like scroll, yeah.
Yeah, it's, what did it say? It made, all day I've been, it's like nothing changed even after I expressed that I'd like to slow it down. It may have seemed okay, but I didn't feel good at all. All day I've been playing it over. I'm realizing how much it affected me. I want to make sure you are aware. Maybe next girl doesn't have to cry on the ride home. Good luck on your movie. Thank you for dinner.
Can I read for Aziz? Okay. I'm so sad to hear this. All I can say is it would never be my intention to make you or anyone feel the way you described. Clearly, I misread things in the moment, and I'm truly sorry. In the voice of Aziz. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So here's one thing. When she talks, she said, in her text, she states, I made clear nonverbal cues.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is kind of an oxymoron.
No.
Clear nonverbal cues?
A clear nonverbal cue would be, for example, just the absence of affirmative consent. Like that is, I'm sorry guys, but like, that's what you have to have, like, to do stuff. Especially when...
So if you're married, just for example, I hope throughout this conversation it doesn't sound like, yeah, but what if, you know. But if you're married, if you're married, should you stop to ask your wife every time if you want to have sex and for her permission, or is it like is there like another thing about like getting swept up in the moment with each other?
I think that there are like, you're talking about sleeping with somebody that you know really well, which I think is different from sleeping with somebody for the first time and getting to know their boundaries and their limits. Mm-hmm. So I think that in this situation, it is especially important to confirm and reconfirm that things are okay. Yeah.
Should we have like a scoreboard up here? Or? No, it's not a competition, guys. We're trying to work together. One thing I want to say is, so I think.
Okay, but okay,
go ahead. Sorry,
I
was gonna say I had something, but then go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, are we saying? This might sound like an obvious answer, or an obvious question, but are we saying that then there are special rules completely different from the rest of the world situations than there are with sex?
No.
How do you mean? Like, can you
okay, so if a teacher asks a question, did everybody read last night? Did everybody do the reading last night? Nobody answers. Does that automatically mean yes or no?
Probably no, but
Yes, I think
So it's like
that,
a nonverbal communication.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to sex, the roles are different because
So,
it
yeah.
because it is
good point.
because
So it's a case by case situation, or is it
It's
like?
always a case by case.
yeah, it's a case by case situation.
So then how? So if it's a case by
But
case situation, then we can't know every single time.
No, but like the key here is communication and listening and observing and all things which are key to having good sex anyway.
Yeah.
But like especially when it comes to checking in with consent. So I think that when you're like, oh, like not, for example, what is Aziz? I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't have a video of it. But when he's like, oh, it's okay. It's only fun if we're both having fun, and then he proceeds to like put his hands down her throat.
Sure. Yeah.
Like that is, it's kind of like the kind of dressing or like the appearance of checking in without actually checking in. It's like making a concession to the idea of checking in without actually doing that. You know what I mean?
Do you think that she's completely innocent in this situation?
Innocent? Like
she's not at fault for anything. Like for the situation she got herself in. And I'm not pro blaming a victim.
Sure.
If there is a victim in this, you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like, oh, you got yourself in this situation.
Yeah, I think she's innocent. Yeah.
Completely. So
Yeah.
even after like she goes to the bathroom, comes back, says, "Hey, I'm not having a good time," and he says, "Oh, it's cool, just stay in. Like let's just chill." And then she still stays. When like throughout the entire date she wasn't having a good time. She still wants to stay.
Yeah.
And then like he suggests like getting head, and she obliges. After she states, when she states that she wants to slow it down and chill, or that you know, and,
So they do chill. Yeah.
right. And then he says like he requests head and she obliges. Doesn't that give him a mixed signal then? Because then it's like, oh well, you said you want to chill, and now you're giving me head.
But I think that we have to look at the power dynamic in the situation. Like he is a famous person.
Yeah.
Who is, and maybe she's, I don't know, interested in being in the industry. Maybe like she's afraid of offending him, or of like as a woman I can say that in every situation I still have this instinct, this like deep instinct to be polite and to just make the other person feel okay. So I think that's
in a male-dominated scenario or situation.
Yeah. And
do you feel that way in this situation?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Really?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way in.
Don't feel that way.
Yeah, I feel that way in many situations. I guess maybe that's Asian politeness. I don't know, but anyways, we have a one commenter, Connor. Hi, he mentions race. How can we bring race into? I think he grammatically he spelled it incorrectly, but
why do you think?
Why do you think race was brought into the Aziz Ansari case as a defense? Okay, so he's referring to one writer. She in the Atlantic she wrote, this the humiliation of Aziz Ansari, right?
Oh, I saw.
And she wrote about how this man, the South Asian man. This South Asian man, he's been very vocal about representation of sexuality, race. The first Asian American man to win the Golden Globe, and this woman comes out and ruins his reputation. And this female writer for the Atlantic says that she blames Grace as opportunistic and hurting a powerful voice in the progressive movement. So before Dan, do you want to chime in on that particularly? Do you agree or disagree with that statement?
That it was a character assassination?
By Grace, yeah. Or by Babe.net. I guess that's a very strong distinction because we gotta be clear that was Grace, is she actually a puppet? And I think hearing Laura's side, I'm guessing I'm feeling a little bit more sorry for Grace because in a way she's kind of been pulled into a larger scheme. But then again, like, did she reach out to Babe? I don't know. The actual
Because Babe had to find out somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but it is any like publication's responsibility to not publish something if it's
hurtful. Yeah.
you know not,
She's anonymous, I guess.
yeah,
If it's not
yeah. So what?
If it's not what?
If it doesn't, so like I've seen a lot of discussion about the early articles about the movement. So like, for example, the investigative article written about Harvey Weinstein and his victims, which took
Let's just agree
years
that
and
Harvey
years.
Weinstein, despicable.
Okay.
For sure, without question.
Sure,
no need
sure,
to debate
sure.
that. He's
Sure.
It's
yeah.
just too much
Yeah.
evidence, and
Yeah,
there's so many
exactly.
women
Yeah.
coming out. And
But I don't
Yeah.
think
should we put them?
I
on the same
don't
boat?
think you can put them on the same boat though.
Oh no, totally
Okay.
not. No,
There's a spectrum. What
there's
would you say?
yeah, there's shades of gray.
But do you think that
Not
entire
50,
spectrum
no.
is still wrong?
I mean, no, not the entire spectrum, because on the one side of the spectrum we have consent, and then
No, I mean like
in the, from Aziz to Harvey.
yeah, or like you don't even have to say like Aziz is on one side of the spectrum and that Harvey's on the other.
I guess.
But like
What spectrum? Are you
So here's a graph. It's like no, and then there's Aziz, and there's and the other side is consent. Yes, and there's like sure, and there's like fuck yeah. I don't know, maybe something like that.
Like,
I don't know.
well, I mean like because you're saying that Aziz is somewhat in the wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
In the wrong spectrum. I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay. In the spectrum of being wrong.
In the spectrum of being wrong, he's wrong.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
And then and Harvey Weinstein is also on that spectrum.
But Harvey Weinstein is
Yeah, on the very, very
dark,
Extreme,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, how like on the spectrum then is Aziz Ansari of
I
being
don't know
wrong?
if
You know what I mean?
I mean I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
Let's talk about in like terms of what is useful, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of what is useful, Dan, sorry, I wanted to bring you in about that question. Do you feel that? Shoot, what was my question? Oh yeah, race. Do you think it was a character assassination?
Yeah, I think Babe.net could have been better about this. I don't know if they necessarily had to. I don't know if they needed to point out to Aziz Ansari that he's very aggressive at dates. I don't know. I don't know if it was character assassination, but I'm just wondering if it would be just as impactful without naming names all the way around.
Yeah,
I see what he means.
yeah,
Like if he didn't say Aziz Ansari,
yeah.
like would we be looking at it
Yeah,
differently?
like-
I guess the thing.
If they said that she went out with somebody famous, etc., who is part of who oppose or says that they're part of the Me Too movement and all that other stuff, if it would have been just as impactful or not.
I think if she did that without stating who it was,
We're gonna find out. Yeah,
not only that, like a lot of people would be like, well then why aren't you saying his name?
yeah,
Because and then the validity of what she said would go down even more.
yeah. That's a good point. I do understand. Like, I do feel kind of like because when you mention a celebrity's name, there's a few things attached to it. Oh, you're trying to get fame. And he just won the Golden Globe, so the timing. So these are some things that were brought up. Oh, it's opportunistic, right? Even in some cases, this podcast might be opportunistic because we are commenting on something that's happening. But I think it's a good spark to start a conversation. Why not? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that one thing that was brought up is like, oh, it's sick. She said, oh, it sickened me when I saw you wear the Time's Up pin. That was same was said about James Franco, which is still, those allegations are still, I don't know why, those allegations haven't got as much press as Aziz's.
Yeah, honestly, they're much worse.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Franco allegation. Basically,
I know
five
those,
women.
Minors involved too.
Oh
I think.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
17-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
17-year-old though. It's a little tricky. You know what I mean? Because like no, because like yeah, you're supposed to ask ages and stuff,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time, like girls can lie. Are you gonna like check their IDs?
You should really check. I think.
Check ID? Really?
No, you should be like, you look really young. I'm gonna because you know when somebody is 17, right? It's not just the way they look; it's their behavior, it's their maturity level. And he's following these girls on Instagram. There
See, I don't know the whole story.
things.
If he is following them on Instagram and they're
Franco
17,
do?
what's that?
Well,
What did Franco do?
he forced some women in. So there was a sexual scene. Like he used to run a school in North Hollywood, right? And there was a scene that he had with the students where they acted out an orgy, and they had these plastic things covering their vaginas. And he said, "No, take that stuff off. I want to really, I guess he didn't want those girls to have that kind of protection."
Mm-hmm.
And the women were kind of like, not really. I don't feel comfortable with that. And then there's the other allegation where Violet Paley, she said on Twitter, like, "Oh, do you remember that time you pushed my head towards your penis in the car?" And then eventually she gave in and just went ahead and did it.
Who's Violet Page?
She's like an actress that you can look it up. But so it sucks because I really like the Disaster Artist, and I was just like, damn it, and I want to watch it again, but now I feel conflicted, And this goes back to the whole thing about can you separate the artist from the art, and that's a whole nother discussion. Another comment was brought up was that she hasn't brought charges against him, so it isn't fair enough that she airs what she perceives as hypocrisy in his behavior, in that he didn't act in a respectful way, even if it was legal. What does that? Okay,
I don't get that.
she isn't fair. Isn't it fair enough that she airs what she perceives? Okay, I guess.
I think he's saying that, isn't it enough that
She already brought it to like
to him, and he apologized maybe
something,
and because he's not breaking the law. Okay,
Yeah.
let me talk about legality, and I'm gonna squash it. Yeah, I'm gonna squash this thing real quick. Like, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right, right? For real talk, like, because guess what? Laws are made by laws are made by a really imperfect system. First of all, a lot of them are made by old white men.
Yeah. So
that's why a lot of female reproductive rights laws are like totally fucking weird, because so legality aside, we have to look at it. So if we use legality as one measure, what's the other measure? I guess the other measure.
I think it's just how I think it's a gender parity issue. I think it's about how women are involved in and respected during sex.
Okay.
I think it's about gender equality.
Okay.
I think that's the schema.
Can we talk? Okay. Can we talk about you saw Lady Bird, right? Like 3 times.
4 now.
4 now. Wow. Have you seen this movie, Lady Bird?
I haven't.
Dan, you saw it, right? We talked about this,
Yeah,
right? Like in one podcast.
What's that movie about? I didn't watch it because I couldn't tell.
Hey guys, I'm gonna connect this back, but but anyways.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So Laura, can you give us Sorry, I'm asking something of you, but do you consent? Can you give
consent to giving a
summary of Lady Bird because you've seen it 4 times? Yeah.
Okay, so Lady Bird is a coming-of-age movie set in the early 2000s in Sacramento about a teenage girl who is desperate to get out of Sacramento and move to the East Coast, and she clashes with her overbearing mother.
Okay.
That's what the whole movie's about.
Pretty much, yeah. It's really a slice of life, kind of coming of age story. Directed and written by a female. Greta Gerwig was nominated for the Oscar. Yeah. I bring this up because, sorry, it's really unprofessional. I'm eating trail mix. But, so there's something in cinema called the male gaze and the female gaze, right? And what the male gaze is basically that all these movies we watch are made by a man. Film cinematographer is usually a man. Reviews are written by a man. So what happens? A lot of women are really sexualized. They hang on the ass for a little bit, Like that's the gaze, male gaze. This is how men see the world.
And you could apply that to how in the Wonder Woman movie,
Yeah.
like even like their uniform
Mhm.
for the Amazon women, it looked like a real Amazon women uniform. But then when it went to the Justice League, that was directed by a man, the Amazon women's uniform just became like a bathing suit, like open mid dress.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. Okay. So, anyways, I'm watching Lady Bird, and what I found interesting for me was like, oh damn, this girl is really trying hard to get laid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's assertive. She knows what she wants. She wants the affection of this guy, and she's kind of pushing for sex, And I've been in situations with females where women have been very assertive in sex with me, and sometimes I was a little thrown off, and sometimes I was I'm down, it turn me on, right?
Yeah.
So
So
you don't know if it's a test or not.
What do you mean?
What is a test in that situation?
Like if she's like kind of like let's have sex. She kind of wants to test you to see if you're the kind of guy who is down to wait, and then if you're the kind of guy that she wants to keep around.
I don't know.
Yes, I know it. Yeah, it's true because it's happened to me.
Okay,
so
I want you to share that experience, but let me finish my point. So my point is basically what I liked about the film. It's not a perfect film, but it's a really good film. I enjoyed it, but meanders a little bit. But anyways,
it is a perfect film, so it's fine now.
Don't talk over me, Laura. How dare you?
I'm
You're woman's planning me.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I was going to say is that what I liked from it was that there's assertive consent. She's giving signals. It's easy to read.
Yeah. And
we just met you. These guys just are blockhead. They just need to pay attention, or they need show her more respect, right? So another point that was brought up by Jenny Yang, which is really good, was that women, for most of their lives, for many generations, have been trained to read men.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas men have been always in a position where it's kind of like we tell other people what to do, or told women, what to do, and we're not as receptive to reading women. Yeah. As women are reading men. Mm-hmm. That's something I was thinking about, because when I read the Babe.net article, my initial reaction was like, this bitch is crazy. Like, she is giving all these weird signals. Then I sat down and thought about it, and I was like, damn, okay. There's this one time I had this one friend, and he's like super bro-y with me, right? He'll touch my ass like that. He's like, hey, what's up, bro? And touch my ass. And one time, like, he's hanging out at my place, I'm taking a piss in the bathroom, right? And he opens the door. He's like, hey, James, what's up? I'm like, hey, dude, I'm trying to take a piss. He's like, yeah, whatever. Hey, how's it going? He's like sneaking into the bathroom. I'm like, dude, hey, can you like get out? I said like that kind of. He's like, no, why? What's wrong? And then he pats my butt. And I'm like, oh, ha. And I'm like, hey, dude, like, can you get out? And I didn't want to like yell, because he's like my friend,
Are you still friends?
We're still friends.
Are you still as good of friends?
So what I did was, like, I was still thinking about, like, before I went to sleep, I sleep kind of late that day. It was like 2 a.m. I was like, hey, let me message it. So I messaged him, hey, dude, like, what you did today was, like, not cool. Like when I told you to get out of the bathroom, you should have just... He's like, dude, why don't you just tell me then? Why are you texting me now? It was his response. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, man, I got caught up in the moment. I was taking a piss.
No, but that's different. You did straight up tell him, like, dude, get out of the bathroom.
But the thing is, the way I said it was maybe like, hey, dude, get out the bathroom. Yeah. That's how he heard it, maybe. Yeah. Because he's been conditioned to
I think that's a little bit different, because it's not a problem with whether or not you said it. It's a problem with how he heard it. If you said it,
I think it's applicable. I think
that's exactly what we're talking about.
I think it's a little bit different, because in here she's saying she's saying it in a different way. She's not really saying it. It's like she's not really saying like she is saying like, oh, let's stop.
Well, let's say that James. Okay, so the exact same thing happened to James, but he doesn't say anything, and he's just like kind of like visibly uncomfortable.
Yeah, I cover my dick or something.
He's like that, and but kind of like goes along with it.
I'm not saying let's go.
No.
Okay.
But
let's
just
for
like
everyone else who's listening. Right?
No, let's just play it out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so does that mean that the fact that James's friend burst in and was like playing around, is that still okay? Because James isn't saying like, dude, get out right fucking now.
Yeah, I should have said that. Thinking back, I was like, fuck, I should have just been like really emphatic. But because we had a history of like, I've messed around with him, he's messed around with me. I'm thinking, he has good intention. Hey, dude, just like, can you get out? But it's hard because then like,
I think it's a little different because you're barging into someone's into like a closed area.
Well, vagina is a closed area, right?
But okay,
hard to get into.
It's literally okay. Let's just say any room, any door.
Yeah.
It's different if someone's trying to break into your house than if someone's already inside your house and trying to.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know
like,
what I mean?
If we're on the couch and like, I'm a female, and she gives you head, like, dude, it's like, okay, I see what you're saying.
It would be very different, completely different if when she was in the bathroom washing her face off, Aziz Ansari like knocks on the door, comes inside the bathroom and says like, "Yo, dude, like, what's up? Are you okay?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I still think the central concept of discomfort and consent.
No, I know, but I'm saying like, in this situation.
I see what you're saying. Like, I guess your argument is the environment informs the situation.
Yeah.
But I think that the key thing here is that James's relationship with this dude informed how he behaved, even when what his friend was doing made him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened in this situation. They're like her like goodwill towards him for whatever reason, because he's famous or
he's made like responsible.
It informs the way that she gives him the benefit of the doubt.
Mm.
So I think that the situations are analogous.
Okay.
In
Dan,
conclusion.
Dan,
back me up, Dan.
Dan, did you want to chime in on that? Like, bros being bros. Like, have you ever had a situation where it's like you've been kind of like bullied into or pushed a bit, kind of pushed into something?
I think a lot of people grow up being bullied at some point or another. But I was thinking about like these nonverbal cues and going back and forth. My question to both James and Aaron is that you guys have sparred quite a bit now.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Have you ever sparred against someone who wasn't really into sparring?
Yeah.
You can kind of tell right away, can't you?
Aaron,
I've never sparred with anyone who wasn't into sport. Not in my opinion, I haven't. So maybe I'm not that good at because if I have, then I haven't seen it. So I can't say that I'm good or not good at seeing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I've sparred with people who are super hesitant, super jerky, and super like tentative. And like, there's a couple of choices I can have. I can have a learning experience with this person, like, and like, hey, when I throw this jab, you can try slipping or try parrying, or I can wail on this fool and like not, beat the shit out of him, right? Like I prefer not to do that. Sometimes I will be asked sometimes and like do the same thing over and over and keep getting him, just so that eventually he's like, dude, I keep getting you with the same combination, left jab, left hook, right? Like you gotta. But after getting him like 5 times, I'll say, hey, dude, I keep getting you with the same combination. Try to figure out a way. I'm not gonna tell him how to get out of it, but like, hey, this is a way you can get out of it, So Dan, so your point is that it should be pretty clear, nonverbal cues.
For a martial artist, I mean, there are going to be times. That whole thing about like sparring is like to know what's going on, right? To a sense, what your opponent's doing. If they're really into it or not into it, you should be able to pick that up.
Oh, sorry, we got distracted by a comment.
Is spitting comments to James
about my vest.
Yeah.
Don't take it off.
No,
you like the vest? Okay, fine.
I think like his comment was to get you to take clothes off.
I think that guys. Okay, so here's another comment. I think that guys aren't as perceptive is a bit of a cop out. Guys know how to treat people in a gentlemanly way or treat them like shit. James suddenly became super perceptive when it was man-on-man contact. Okay. And yes, I will keep the fucking vest on, okay? Okay. Yeah, so Dan, you bring up a good point. Sparring generally, Aaron, is man versus man. Usually, not all the time, but I do find myself fairly perceptive, and also dude, I've had some pushy friends before in the past. I had a pushy friend in high school. You ever had that friend who was like, dude, hey, yo, come over, man. I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm like kind of busy. Dude, what are you doing? No, tell me, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm doing this. Dude, you can totally do that later. You can do that homework. That'll only take like 30 minutes.
Kind of he's not my friend anymore.
He's not my friend anymore. And I think it's analogous. I think it might be analogous. Laura, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I mean...
You've had that experience and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it with people of different genders, but and I think that a lot of dudes kind of, when it comes to sexual situations, they can be like that. They can be like that because they think that because something has happened before, because something is currently happening, that the next thing is also cool. And if there's a no, then becomes a thing of, oh, hey, but wait, what? We were just doing this. What are you talking about? What do you mean? And then you, on the other side of that, maybe you don't want to make a big deal out of it because you don't want to have a fight, or you don't want to be confrontational, or you don't want to. Can you imagine, like, can you imagine, like, being in a situation where you're making out with a girl and she just, like, storms out of your apartment and, like the behavior that you guys are talking about, Grace, the behavior that you're saying would have been the correct response is kind of like, it's not, how to say, it's out of the bounds of normal behavior. Like, it's not like the way that you have a date. You know what I mean?
So so a lot of men or a lot of women, actually older feminists or older, are calling her out on not stepping out of the bounds of normal behavior and taking that step.
Right.
Okay. That's a good point, because it's kind of like, it's a very, to make that demand might be unfair on Grace, right?
I think so.
And for that, back to my guy coming to the bathroom while I'm taking a piss situation. Okay, now when I think about it, I said, dude, get the fuck out of the bathroom. I should have said that, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't. I was just, hey, can you get out of the bathroom? Because, I don't want to be mean to him, right? Yeah. But now I think about it, I was like, dude, I had to go there, but I didn't, because it's, like you said, it's kind of outside the bounds of polite behavior.
Yeah.
I do want to kind of shift gears. I want to introduce race into this mix as well, because one thing that I think is not talked about in this conversation. Well, so I do agree. Men have to be better listeners. Can we all agree on that? Or
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
You mother.
No, yeah, you're sure. Everybody needs to listen.
Everyone needs to listen better. Now, the one thing that's kind of missing from the conversation is also masculinity. All right. So let's go around. You hear the word masculine. This person is really manly or masculine. Dan, what does that mean to you?
Wait, say that again? I don't cut masculine.
Yeah. If the word masculinity, what does that word mean to you?
So, like the macho part? Like being very dominant, I guess.
Okay, and then Aaron, would you agree? To be an attractive man, do you have to be masculine? It's kind of it's a big term. Yeah.
I don't know what it takes to be an attractive man because I'm not an attractive man.
You are so come here.
Hey, dude, I'm not comfortable with that.
Oh, sorry. That's different.
But I don't what is it? It's very subjective to say what makes a manly man. like a girl could say, like the fact that a man is emotionally in tune with himself makes him very masculine.
Sure.
But then another girl could say, if a guy cries, he's not masculine at all.
Right. And
so it's very subjective.
Right, and it's kind of like, Laura, do you want to chime in on that? What makes an attractive male, or what's a masculine?
I mean, I think that looking at it in an individual way isn't as helpful as looking at what society tells us is masculine and attractive. Because I think that like people have their individual perceptions, etc. But those perceptions are influenced by like larger trends, which I think tend to be, towards men who are like pretty dominant and domineering, kind of, or who are encouraged not to be. I don't know how you guys feel about this. Do you feel like you are throughout your life? Do you feel like you've been encouraged not to be sensitive or like introspective, or?
I've always been a sensitive guy. No, honestly, I'm not trying to like be sarcastic or anything. Like, I really have always been a sensitive guy.
Did your dad ever call you out on that,
guy.
or?
No. Okay. There was one time I was at daycare, and then someone was like, this other. Okay, I was like a little kid, and then she was
no judging.
She was like a grade older, but she was like, she was there with like all her friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they all like started getting in my face, you know. And she did that thing where like they get real close. You're like, what's up? Like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Right?
She was bullying you.
Yeah. And so like I was like, dude, like, you know, like I pushed her off.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh.
Like I mean, like I was at that age where it's like I know I always knew you're not supposed to hit a girl, right? But like, what else can you do? Like if someone's just like in your face, you're not just gonna like let them stay. And I honestly like in that moment, I felt like I was being like trying to be strong-armed, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then she just like kept getting him. And then like when she did that, like all of a sudden, like 4 other girls, like keep in mind, like I'm a little kid, like I was smaller when I was younger, and they were like all, I mean, they were all athletes, like they were all on the basketball team.
Oh,
right?
They could kick your ass.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, because I was little, I don't know. Dude.
No judging.
But yeah, so
you
like,
can totally own them now.
Like, I don't know. I mean, you can't own people. But like they they all started getting in my face, right? And so like all I could keep doing was just like keep pushing them back, but then like it just like got to the point where like just emotionally it started to fluster me, and I just started to cry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like at that very moment, like my dad comes, the car pulls up, and then I just like grab my bag and I just go straight into the car and I'm crying.
Yeah.
And my dad's like asking me like, what's wrong? And then like I was like telling him what happened, and he's like, that's what you're crying about? I'm like, dude, come on, like you weren't there, you don't know how it was.
Yeah.
And he just goes, yeah, I know it's hard, but like come on, like this is what you're crying about.
Yeah.
And that was the only moment that you know I've always been a sensitive guy.
That reminds me. Can I share? I was going to share a story. Like, my dad growing up told me, James, you have to be like a samurai. You have to be like, you have to be not show your feelings too much, and you have to because then people can use that against you. You can't be vulnerable. You have to be strong and show your strong face. You know, and like he. I give it up to him. He pushed me to take karate, and I actually took to it. Out of all my siblings, I actually was the one who stayed in karate. Yeah. So I liked it. But there was always, let me see. Yeah, I used to do like weird shit when I was a kid. Like I would try go, hey, hello, like, and I'd blow in people's ears and stuff. Or like I'd be like kind of, and as I got older, my dad's like, dude, James, you gotta stop. And then, fair point.
Yeah.
A little bit too touchy feeling, And anyways, what I want to say is that, okay, we have these ideas of masculinity from our fathers, or what it takes to be a man. That's what we learned. That's how I learned. And then my mother, would also like try to my mother would try to like tell me what to do or baby me, and my dad's like, no, you gotta let him find out. He has to be a man. He has to find out on his own. Stop trying to baby him to be a mama's boy. Like he would yell at my,
Yeah.
And anyways, what I want to talk about also is that growing up too as Asian men, so aside from our fathers and our uncles, the men that we saw in the media were white men mainly, except for maybe Bruce Lee, but I didn't find him until later on.
Yeah.
And then the Asian men that I saw, was like 16 Candles, Long Duck Dong, and then who else was there? There's I'm trying to think of some other Asian. There's that guy from the Goonies, the little Asian kid. Oh, there's that little Asian kid from Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones. Shortstop or whatever, or it was kind of short round. It's like, oh hey,
These guys never really had names.
Yeah,
they just had
and
like random words put together.
So we and then also when I got older and I got into porn like around when I was a teenager, it's like there's no Asian men, and then I got into Japanese porn later on. We talked about this last time, but but it was like, and I basically. Male images and male role models, we had like, it's really confusing for I think a lot of Asian men have to really own up to how fucking confusing it is to grow up as a man in America, because there are and then we're emasculated as late man and butterfly and like all this stuff in the consciousness of America of how Asian men are not as manly as other men. I was an Asian and my freaking Tinder and my dating apps were blowing up. But in America, it's like, it's harder, So,
dude, whenever I always be like, oh, people will be like, oh, you're attractive because you don't look like other Asians.
What the fuck?
That's what I get.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't look like the typical Asian, which I don't know. I think I do. You know what I mean? Or people will be
I get that too, and like, a girl said, "Oh, you must be part white," and I'm like, "I'm not." She's like, "Well, I meant that as a compliment." I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Really strayed from the main topic.
So what I'm trying to say is, okay, Aziz's story, or like, there's other Asian American guys out there that they kind of overcompensate, maybe. What I'm trying to say is that maybe guys like Aziz. Or maybe other Asian men feel like, maybe there's sometimes I get this feeling with women that I've dated before. It's like, fuck, was I being too polite? Was I not assertive enough? Because I don't. So Dan, I told you last time I was helping. I was at work. I was helping a lady with her computer, and I was like, I saw her before. I got her messaging before, right? And I was like, oh, dude. Hey, you're back. I messaged her and she ghosted me. And then I saw her again and I was like, fuck, should I just push for it again? So then I was helping her a little bit, like, but I'm in a professional environment, and I tell her, hey, what happened to that boba drink? And she shut down. Nonverbal cues. She was like, didn't respond. Her hands went stiff on the keyboard and she didn't look at me. And I'm like,
what was she?
She was a customer at the store that I was working.
No, but like her nationality.
She was Taiwanese.
Okay.
Yeah, and because she ghosted me before on a messenger, and then I saw her again. So basically, non-verbally, she was not into me, and I left. And then I asked my female coworkers, like, "Hey, was I overstepping?" She's like, "Probably." It's a professional situation. I wasn't directly helping her with her device.
Yeah.
But anyways, but the thing is, I had no idea where that line was until I stepped over it a little bit. And now I know whenever that situation comes up, I'm like, oh, James, maybe I shouldn't go that far. I was not clear. Yeah. So and also in sexual situations, it's tough, because then sometimes I'm like, should I go move in for the kiss? And I asked my friend about it, and he's like, James, every time, first date. That's his thing. Every time he always goes for making out on the first date. I'm like, what? And how does that work? He's like, pretty good, you know?
It's 50-50. Everything in life's 50-50. I mean, I don't do that, but...
and it's like, because look, a lot of times I do want to have sex. I'm not sure if it's going to be a relationship, but for the sex part, I'm pretty much usually down and a date. But I'm not sure about the woman, but I'm trying to get, but then I don't want to overstep my bounds, and I don't want to. So what I'm trying to say, bringing this all back to like the Z story or like all the sexual allegation stories or listening to women, is basically how can men present their sexuality in a healthy way that's not attacking, that is not stepping over bounds, or so it's confusing. And I think that's something we need to talk about. And I think one of the answers is yes, listen, being fucking hella receptive to the other person, and not just push. But there are moments where like maybe it is attractive for you to like go for that kiss. Okay, question. Let's make this really simple. Should you ask a girl, "Hey, can I kiss you?" If it's her first kiss. Aaron, have you ever asked a girl on the first kiss with the girl, "Hey, can I kiss you?" Have you ever asked for consent? Me either. That's bullshit. That's not bold. That's like, and I've talked to women about this, and they think it's like, dude, no, James, don't ever ask that.
I think
it kills the moment.
It kills the moment.
People or James have asked me that before, which I kind of appreciate. But I think that if you're like, I think abiding by the, going 50% rule, so like leaning in.
The 90-10.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the 90? Sorry, go ahead.
So you lean in if you're the person initiating, you would lean in 90% of the way. And then you let the other person sort of
finish it.
Yeah. So you're not immediately.
No.
You're not lunging towards their mouth. I think that's.
It's not hungry hippos.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're like giving them the opportunity.
It's basically going like this, and they're
exactly
going like that.
I usually I fucked up there. Yeah, because I go from like from here to like boom, and I'm like, and she's like, whoa.
Yeah, no, that's.
That's why, because it's kind of like, I don't know, like if you saw like a punch coming at you, what would you do?
I know, that's true. Yeah.
That's basically what you're doing with your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, trying to jab.
All right, that cleared that up for me. Thank you. I've learned something.
You know what? Well, if you don't even like, if you're trying to insinuate a kiss, you move closer to them.
Yeah.
If they don't pull away, you get a little bit closer. If they don't pull away, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, then that's a way. I think that's a way that, because based on the story about Aziz or whatever, it seems like he did go for 100. He was throwing that punch, that sexual punch. Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, no, I'm just saying, like there could be more to it, because it's always different if you like take a girl out on a first date when it's not really like a first date. You know what I mean? Like if you talk to someone for a long time, and then you finally like say like, oh, let's go on like a real date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you kind of like already know more. Actually, I don't really know what I'm going with this one. Yeah,
just Connor's mentioning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have. I've seen his show. Yeah.
And actually, that episode is really great.
Where he does kind of go for the kiss or whatever, and it's just like,
Oh, when he's on the online dating dates.
Yeah, and also the episode where he directly deals with sexism and
with that guy who he was supposed to be partners with in a show later on.
That too, but also in the first season.
Spoiler.
When his girlfriend is. Remember, it's like the parallel walking home scenes with like the woman who's like walking home, and it's a horror movie. And, and he's walking home, and it's like so
easy. Yeah. Dan, do you have anything to add? Based on I guess how to express sexuality healthily, going for that kiss.
Well, yeah, the
going for that,
rule is a pretty good rule to go by. But I was just thinking about the whole dynamics, the power dynamics. I'm sure for Aziz Ansari, who's famous and healthy, he's probably not used to girls not saying yes.
Mm.
And he probably has like a distorted reality of what's acceptable and what's not.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
And the girl, I'm sure is just like, not only is she used to like going along with things, probably not being empowered to say no all the time, but it's also doubly so when it comes to someone who's like wealthy and famous.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be really difficult for a girl in that situation.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
For her to like, yeah, Aaron.
I kind of want to segue back to James Franco.
Yeah.
So because I don't know this, I kind of want to know the whole story. So like those girls with the whole like plastic covering up their vagina area.
Yeah.
He said no, take those off.
Yeah.
Were those the girls that were under 17?
No.
That's different.
It's different because he approached a girl, I think outside of a hotel.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, are you?" He asked her age, and
at that moment did she state that she was 17?
I think I don't know the details. I think something like along those lines. But anyways, I guess
it's a completely different story if she stated that she was 17 than if she didn't state that she was 17.
All right, I will. Sure, but it's still not legal to have.
Yes, it definitely isn't legal.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
But
It's still
and like
story.
as somebody who is going through the world with the possibility of like, if you ask out a girl and don't you want to like know that she's 18 and over instead of kind of knowing in the back of your head but not wanting to confirm it so that you can have sex with her, which I think is what probably happens. You know what I mean?
No, I want to know for sure, especially too, like for Asian women too. Like it's sometimes I'm like, I don't know, and like you
I've
look
never
like
been in that situation where I didn't know that they were older.
Yeah, I
can't really talk on this one.
Yeah. I mean, I had. Let me see. Should I had a situation where I was also around that age range.
If anyone has comments, feel free to leave.
Yeah, if anyone has comments, feel free to leave. But no, in that situation, I just made it very clear to her, like, hey, this is my age, that's your age, and we're around the same age, but we're still kind of like on that cusp, right?
Yeah.
But I was worried, I was like,
and I think
I had to be really sure.
Yeah, I think there's a real difference between dating, like if you're 17, dating somebody who's 19,
Okay.
Or versus dating James Franco, who is
38, 39, yeah.
The power, whether you're 17 or 18, the
Jay-Z
power
was like
dynamic
20
is
something when
there.
Beyonce was 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they started dating.
Oh, really? She was 17 when they started dating?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When he started like pursuing a friendship with her.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, Michelle Pfeiffer and John Johnson, I think that was a pretty big age gap, and she was underage.
Yeah.
Woody Allen.
Oh God!
Let's not talk about
That's different.
That is
different. There's a difference though between like manipulating. So
I don't know the story with
James Franco wasn't like trying to be in a relationship with.
He was trying to be in a relationship.
No, I don't. No, he was probably just trying to have sex, and I think that it gets complicated.
So did he take them out like on dates and stuff?
I don't know. I don't know the whole story.
One of them he was in a relationship with, but he was kind of forceful.
Yeah.
In their first sexual encounters.
I think what's important in these situations is to look at the power dynamic. And that's at play. And if James Franco, a 30-something man, is putting himself in situations with younger and less influential women, like there is the dynamic to be exploited.
So one thing I want to talk about, you bring up a good point, is a lot of powerful men or men with power or money have been indicted. Louis C.K., recently.
Louis C.K. admitted to his faults.
Yeah, Louis C.K., Al Franken, Roy Moore, I guess, whatever. So
Roy Moore didn't.
He didn't admit.
Yeah.
So,
but indicted, yes.
And in history, like there have been a lot of powerful men who've had illicit, affairs or with underage little girls. Like, what I'm curious about then is like what is going on, and like and this is a bigger. I don't know. I don't think we can all answer this, but maybe. They say individual.
Maybe the viewers can.
Maybe they say individual is dumb, but an audience is a genius, right? That's what David Mamet said. So, like, what I'm curious about is like, okay? And something that Dave Chappelle mentioned in his talk was that the women are victims for sure. The women that have been their psyches and their bodies that have been acted upon, they are victims. The men are victims in another sense. They are victims of a society of toxic masculinity or systemic issues. It's a different kind of victim, But what I'm trying to say is like, how can we solve that? And for Asian American, this is me bringing it back to Asian America. Asian American men are in a fucking awkward scenario of like they don't know how to be. They don't have a firm grasp of how to be masculine in America because of emasculation by the media. But then hypermasculation by their fathers, maybe in certain situations. So I don't know. What's the answer? Like, because a lot of these powerful men, maybe they got to where they were because of maybe high testosterone or like being really aggressive, and in that sense, they try to apply these same skills in sexual encounters because it was successful in the business or in the entertainment world of getting where they are now. Now they try to apply that into the bedroom, and it's causing issues. I don't know. Maybe that's it. I mean,
it's like it's rape culture.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's an overflow of power because they're powerful men or wealthy men or whatever. It's like it doesn't matter. It's like it exists everywhere and anywhere. I think. It's this idea that sex is something that men desire and need, and this idea that women need to give it to them. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like this pervasive idea. I don't think it's like it expresses itself in different ways in different cultures for sure.
Yeah.
But that's
It's kind of like to reinterpret it is like, oh, I want something from women, which is sex.
Yeah.
Like men are thinking, hey, I want something from you. You have to, and I'm entitled to that. I'm owned sex. Whereas in reality, women don't owe men anything.
Yep.
Yep.
Whereas,
but there is this pervasive thought that if a man wants sex, he should be able to grab it and take it from a woman. And that's a really dangerous thought because I found myself, there are certain dates where I was like, damn, I really wanted sex, and she didn't give it to me. Now, there's a couple of thoughts that go through my head. It's like, okay, there's something wrong with me. Was I not assertive enough, or like should I have been more pushy? But the other thing is that
she just doesn't want to have sex.
Yeah, she doesn't want to have sex, and I have to respect that.
That's okay,
and that's fine.
Yeah,
I have to go home and
just
masturbate. Yeah. But
find somebody who does want to have sex.
And like, it's frustrating. Sexual frustration.
Go to the local massage parlor.
Sexual frustration. No, that's a good point because I'm thinking what another solution might be is just. I don't know. There might be some sort of system where like girls who are hella horny, guys who are hella horny can match up somehow. And because the typical thing is, well, really, I've tried the bar scene and it's like tough.
It's worked a few times.
Anyways, sorry. So what I wanted to say was the system is rape culture, I guess, right? And yeah, I mean, Aaron, did you want to add to that at all, or? Do you agree that there is a culture out there that rape culture is a big issue of college campuses, in the workplace? Or you can't really speak to it.
I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know about this topic like rape culture and stuff like that. Like I don't know, like I don't have like a voice in it. Though I should, obviously, like you should be able to pick a side. But
Well, no, it's
not just pick a side. I don't know.
it's no. I think you bring up a good point. Is that a lot of men are not attentive to this idea, and someone like fucking Aziz Ansari who wrote a fucking whole book on modern romance that Dan and I both read.
Yeah.
Which
How
is
was that book?
It's good.
And I read it also.
Was it a good book? Like, does it bring up good points?
No,
No.
it's a good book. Yeah.
'Cause I mean, I haven't read it. So
Yeah.
Laura, our woke female, approves of that book.
I love Master of None. I love his book.
Has
I
your
had some issues with the
opinion of
second
him
season.
changed?
Honestly, yes. Yeah.
Or
But-
all the stuff that he's done.
But no. I'm not dismissing all of his work because of this.
Okay.
I don't think that's. I think that there.
Can you understand women that have?
Yeah, I can understand women who have,
Oh.
but I think that for me there is a lot of gray area, and there is a major distinction between somebody like Weinstein and Aziz Ansari, which again is not saying that something that the incident that Grace wrote about is great, but I think that I totally respect women who don't want to deal with them, but I'm not one of those
So
people.
moving forward, what do you think are the fallout implications for Aziz Ansari versus someone like James Franco?
Mm.
Do you think Aziz Ansari is going to be able to continue working, doing what he wants to do, stand up or whatever?
Mhm.
And do you think James Franco's career is going to be hurt at all?
I think it's a little bit different because for each scenario, because the level, and I hate to say it, but it's like their level of stardom.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, we've all played Pokemon, right?
The catch 'em, like the one with
Pokemon
she's like
Go?
Like
Go.
no, like on Game Boy.
No.
Oh
I
Yeah.
only
no,
play
I don't think that.
Okay, well,
I know
you've
the
done
concept.
raids, right? On Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Okay, so like a level 5 Pokemon who gets hit
Mhm.
with an attack will lose more health than a Pokemon who's level 20 with the same hit.
Okay, so you have less defense because you're lower level. Okay, yeah, okay.
And that's, I'm applying that to what's going to happen to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The other thing is that both of them were both wearing times up pins, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of received a backlash from these women that spoke out. And a couple of things I thought about was so Franco, you would say, is a higher level
He's a high level Pokemon.
He's a higher level Pokemon. So they both work.
And that's just a statement. That's not
right.
an opinion. That's like a state. That's just like a fact.
That's kind of a fact. He's done like 20. Yeah, he's got a more famous repertoire in America.
Like he's been like his first Hollywood role dates way further back than Aziz Ansari.
Sure. And you ask anyone on the street, on average, everyone's gonna say, yeah, I know James Franco versus Aziz Ansari, right? Yeah. So, but Aziz Ansari, he gets hit by this, not as many. There's only one accusation so far, and she hasn't pressed charges.
Mhm.
But he got hit more. Like, dude, the media is like, why are we even talking about this? The media landscape is flooding with this too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, do you think is that because he's also less star? Is it also because that there's other two things that I want to consider
The
as
fact that
well.
he's Asian.
He's Asian, and also he's built his whole career on being sensitive to women's needs.
And
Mhm.
I don't know if it makes a difference or not. I don't even know if it's ever been stated, but is she a white?
I don't know.
Female?
You know what?
Do you think that? What is it?
Yeah,
I don't
think her
it's
race.
listed in
Yeah,
the notes.
Dan, do you know if she's white or not? Grace or no?
I don't think any of that information is going to be released.
Yeah,
Do you think like that's a bigger deal?
I did.
Like if maybe Babe knew that she was white.
I'm gonna guess you,
You
dude.
know
Because
what I mean?
like, look at Master of None. He's freaking worshiping a white woman,
Mhm.
Italian woman.
Yeah.
Italian woman. Yeah. And remember, because in one of the episodes, he basically he said he lists all the women that are in his top 3, they're all Italian women.
Yeah.
And I heard that, I was like, damn, dude, this series is hella worshipping white women, you know? And then there's like the other movie, The Big Sick. And you know, that was based on a true story. Okay, maybe that's different.
It's totally different.
Immediately.
I know, I hate it. I hate it when
completely
people
took the legs out of your argument.
lump those two things together because you would rather that Kumail Nanjiani and his wife not make that movie as opposed to tell it, just because of
I've never heard.
Yeah, just like I've read some think pieces of like why are all of these media representations of Asian men loving white women, and they talk about The Big Sick, and I'm like, well, that's like,
I mean, this goes back
Are
to
they
my.
saying that Asian men shouldn't be with white women, or that white women?
No. They're saying that there need to be more media representations of Asian men
with Asian
with women of color.
With women of color.
Just in general.
And
which is true, but The Big Sick is like a specific example.
Who's this? So the other thing I was going to mention was, what about? I understand where you're coming from with The Big Sick.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want to talk about was like, what about the representations of the women of color, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all seen as inferior options,
In The Big Sick?
In the Big Sick, also in Master of None, when he goes on the other dates.
Yeah.
They're all like the representation of the women of color.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the only girl that he hooks up with is a white chick.
A white chick, yeah.
With that brunette.
Yeah. So
and she has like a racist. She has like a racist condom holder.
So what does that say? It's like he's so down with white women that he's willing to like overlook her racism. Maybe, I mean, Dan, did you want to comment on that about the white Asian men, white women?
Not really, not that one.
Yeah, let's.
All right, fine. Okay, how are we on time?
We should probably wrap it up pretty
Yeah.
soon.
You want to wrap it up? Okay. So let's wrap it up with certain comments. Okay. So, let's wrap it up with some final thoughts. Any questions? Any questions out there? Deals with no. Any questions? No. Cool. Thank you for joining us. One thing I just want to say is that one thing that needs to be talked about as well is something that needs to be added to this conversation, I think, is also where is the source of the problem? One thing that's always been talked about is, hey, you are wrong and this person's the victim, or you're the victim and this person is wrong, whatever, vice versa. Oh, she wasn't assertive enough and he's the victim now, or he was too bold and she's the victim. So one thing that needs to be talked about is, wait, where is this all coming from? Like, where is what is the rape culture, or what is the culture that is making these men like not be perceptive to women? And I'm guilty of this. So to real talk, if it before this article, I thought I was pretty I'm a feminist dude. I'm so sensitive to women. But then I read that article. I was like, damn, I can kind of see some echoes of what of what I've it's very shameful, but there are some echoes of pushing this that I've been towards women on, like trying to pursue sex. And it's never been to the point of assault. It's never been to the point of where she was crying afterwards or anything like that I know of. But because we've always been friendly, cordial afterwards. But sometimes one time I was in the car with a girl and I was like trying to go for it, and then I noticed a slight push, and I'm like, okay, I gotta step back. And but I feel bad, we talk about it, but so basically I just want to understand where is this coming from, and I think I'm thankful for these kind of conversations, because it helps me be more self-reflective and more perceptive. But I think the danger is, now the other thing I want to add is the other danger is that to be overly polite and being overly politically correct to the point that it's kind of false, or it's not an expression of of who you are. They talk about
the holier than thou attitude.
Holier than thou. So in Buddhism, they talk about desire as the source of all suffering, right?
Suffering.
But I asked a monk about this, or I think he's a monk, and he had the whole garb, and he's really old. But anyways, he said, well, another way you can look, because I said, whoa, what about fucking like, pursuing your passion, or like being a great bomb ass like director or writer or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, if that's your true nature, that's how you're expressing yourself. When you do it, you just do it, right? But when you're pushing your desire, like onto women, or onto in like these priests, they push it onto kids, right? Mm-hmm. There's those cases. Yeah. Then that's the kind of desire that's harmful and selfish, right? And what I want to end with is that maybe another word for desire could be like, it's a delusion. It's like a delusion that, if I can get this thing from that girl, if I can get that sex from that person, I'll be happy, right? Mm-hmm. So another word, I think the problem for me with Buddhism was like, desires causes suffering, life is suffering. I never liked that. But speaking to him, it's like, oh wait, it's actually maybe it's not the translation directly to desire, but maybe just delusion. This delusion of you, this compulsion, like this compulsion of fuck, I need to get this, I need to fuck a lot of women to be a man, and that's a delusion that's been taught to us or ingrained to us by rape culture or by society, and I think that's something that men have to be aware of, and that's something that we have to talk about. So, anyways, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Any last thoughts or comments on you guys?
Do you want to go first?
You can go ahead.
I think a lot of okay, I know I haven't thought about rape culture. I think a lot of it has to do with how you're taught and how certain things, certain people who do the infractions are punished. You know what I mean? Like, and I've heard this from a girl's perspective. Like your glass, for example. Mm-hmm. You go to a club, you're taught to put something over it so that you don't get drugged. Mm-hmm. You know, and then that's like common practice. Like daughters teach that or moms teach that to their daughters. Yeah. But how often is a son taught like, hey, how about you just don't
drug girls? Yeah.
That's never taught. It's just kind of like inferred that you shouldn't be doing it, but it's not ingrained into you.
Yeah.
It's not explicitly stated.
You know what I mean? Like women are always taught that they have to defend themselves. Like, hey, don't careful because you're not going to be safe at night.
Yeah. Put the keys in your fist in case use as a weapon.
Guys aren't taught like, hey, don't go out prowling. Yeah. Part of it is because like it's implied that don't
be a shitty dude. Yeah.
Like no one teaches you like, hey, don't kill somebody. Yeah. But I think it's also, I think it should be touched upon. Like it should be a focal point in a man's upbringing. Yeah. And another thing is not how easy, but how often people are able to get away with these kinds of things. Mm-hmm. When like that one kid who's in college. Yeah, I'll call it out because I still to this day think that it's a load of garbage that this kid was caught by multiple people raping a girl in plain sight, right? Yeah. And when he was put in front of a judge, the judge said, hey, this guy is on, was it the swim team? He's on the swim team. Putting him in jail will affect his future.
His future, fuck that, yeah.
Like
he was, bikers, like two Swedish bikers, like pulled him off of her,
and then like a person from a foreign country saw what was going on, and it literally made him sick to the extent where he literally vomited.
Yeah.
The fact that it's okay for a judge who's appointed in a court of law, who has the final say over someone's life, the same person who can who can knowing or unknowingly put a very innocent man in jail for life, can also make the willing choice to let a man like that, a person like that free.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
That's bullshit. But luckily, like recently, Nazar, the doctor who molested over 100 girls, he's been put into jail for about 175 years.
Good.
And
And
So there's
that
some
was,
justice, yeah.
Yeah, but there was, before he was brought to justice, there was a lot of complicit behavior by parents and coaches and like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, another example of the like culture of silence and like not wanting to be because it was the victims who eventually had to stand up and accuse him. You know what I mean?
So one comment is, why do no men or boys admit to sexual aggression by women? Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an
What's he saying?
He's saying, what about women being aggressive towards men in a sexual manner? That like the flip side of it, I guess.
And as like a man, you have to be down.
Yo,
Are you going down the waterfall?
yo, Dan, are you all right? Hello, Dan.
Yeah, I don't think my equipment's starting to work right.
Okay, well, let's finish. Laura, last thoughts.
I just wanted to say that I think it's really interesting that a lot of guys are reading or thinking about the Aziz Ansari story and reflecting on things that they've maybe done or experienced during sexual experiences, like what you talked about, James.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe why this story has caught on the way that it did, because it's an example of a bad date that almost everybody has experienced, and it kind of puts a mirror to what is wrong with the way that we date and approach sex in general.
We can do better.
Yes, we can do better.
Dan.
That's it.
I just think that it might be better for people to learn some martial arts, not just for self-defense purposes, but I think when you engage in martial arts, in sparring, and any like back and forth, you kind of like learn to read things better.
Yeah. Not to say that's a cure-all, but no, I think it's helpful. Yeah.
It's not a cure-all. It's just one way, and I think I use martial arts to apply to life, because in push dance especially, you're always like probing and trying to listen and understand what's going to go on.
Yeah. Like with grappling too, you feel that, Aaron?
What?
Like you're sensitive to how to react and how to not react in a grappling match.
Yeah, I guess like you mean like I don't like expose my neck because I know like a trap's coming.
Sure, yeah.
More like you actually know what move to do next, because you can actually see or feel or sense what's open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I guess.
I guess
if I was better, I'd probably do a better job at it.
But I think the danger though of martial arts is that we talk about sparring. Sparring is imposing your will on the other person, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's always about give and take, right? You can't just like for grappling, you're not going to go for an arm bar if that opening is not there.
Sometimes,
but then you have to, or sometimes you have to make that opening.
Sometimes I
you
would
have to
because
make that opening, but you already know that if you force the situation, it's not going to happen.
Okay, I do like. I think the sensitivity. I think it applies, but there are a lot of boxers or MMA fighters who have some domestic. Not a lot, but there are some MMA fighters and some boxers have been prone to domestic abuse,
but that's in anything, because you could also say like, there's people who
there's engineers who also have
domestic
issues.
abuse.
Okay.
I mean, there are doctors who have domestic abuse.
Sure. I guess we have to look at the percentages or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I understand what you're saying about. It's kind of like, I'm in my head. I'm comparing it to improv and like how you have to be in the moment with somebody and like understand, like kind of come to predict what they're going to do or say and be be focused entirely on them. And I think that's a
Yeah,
skill
you know what it,
that applies.
you know what it,
How would you
Yeah.
learn that skill though? Like, do you take like a dating class? I'm not trying to be sarcastic.
I think that you can practice being in the moment and not focusing on your ego and your thoughts and just listening and watching and observing.
I mean, you
you know what it comes down to? It's just social interaction. People
Yeah.
have to know, once you even in conversation, if you can't tell
Yeah.
that things are not going well, then you've got a lot of other problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
any case, I got to get going for sure because my kid just woke up.
okay,
Man.
okay. I was going to ask you how you teach your kids. Can you touch on that real quick, or you have to go?
I'm actually holding my kid, so
This is how you're teaching them, I guess. Yeah.
no. They're still pretty young, but once those things happen, we'll discuss.
Sounds good. Okay.
Bye,
Thanks so
Dan.
much, Dan, and
Thanks, everyone.
thank you for joining, and for all the people who've commented and listened and shared their thoughts. I'm going to look over the comments later. So thank you so much. So this is James, aka Young, signing off.
This is Yin, Dan, aka Yin, signing off.
This is Aaron signing off.
This is Laura signing off.
I sign.
Peace out. Thank you. Love each other.
In an appropriate way.
Inappropriate way, yeah.
In an appropriate.
Okay.
With consent, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.